This is what happens when a plumber installs your electrics.
Cables slung across the roof, rough as heck, not secured, a bit like a hose pipe.
So in this video, we'll show you how to do it properly. We have 2 3-phase chargers that we're installing at this commercial property. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Run the intro. I'm feeling I can do the old, what's the old Scandinavian flick? What's that throw, innit? And do that.
That's the strong man.
Yeah, when you throw it over. Oh, my back. That's hurting already. It's actually the right place for it to happen, isn't it? Chiropractors. And basically I had my Weetabix this morning, so it's fine.
So I was just like prepping all the bush and couplers up, and I was like, oh, why ain't it screwing? So I turned it around, there's no thread in it. Like, that's how it should be.
Why on earth would you ever want an unthreaded coupler? Is it as a giant straw? I mean, what are you going to do with it?
Okay, so the plant room's below us, and you can see the AC installers have done this lovely install of just lashing the cable all up on the roof. So what we're going to do is we're kind of going to follow the route, but we're going to do it with tray sitting on the rubber feet. So we're going to do a line from here, we'll come along, and then we'll do a 90, we'll go all the way to the ends where the charger's going to go, and then we'll come off and we'll just tee off, and the cable can drop down. The guys are just laying all the bits out ready. So once we've got a rough sort of idea of how we want it, then we'll start bolting it all together and getting it sort of fixed and finished. So yeah, hopefully we can get that done, because it looks like it's going to start raining soon, and then at least we've got some bits we can do inside.
So we're going to be mounting the tray to these strut feet. They're quite heavy and weighty and rubber, and they just sit down here, and it's got a little channel on the top, so our Zebedees can go into there and our tray can sit straight on it. They're quite weighty, and once all the cables and everything's on it, it will be it won't be moving anywhere, so they're not fixed down to the roof. The trouble with fixing the roofs is you've got to try and keep the watertight seal, so these get around that problem quite well. So as you can see, the Hellman's bucket is back. This is featured on other videos. This is actually from my wedding night. It wasn't that. This sounds a bit dodgy, doesn't it? On my wedding night, my wife had a little bit too much to drink, and the concierge there gave us this bucket, and I've kept it ever since. And yeah, now it's my work bucket. It's not got a name. I really should name it. Let us know in the comments what we should name the bucket.
Leave this edge, and we'll just cut that off, and then bolt it. Yeah. It's either that, or you can make 2 45s, which will take a lot longer, but might be worth us seeing first actually how well that cable bends. 2 10mm. You might want to make 45 for that corner and that corner.
Have we got a datum point on this roof to get this nice and level?
Maybe that
edge.
Measure off.
So these are channel nuts, but everyone calls them Zebedees. And it's in honour of a TV show, Magic Roundabout. So there's a springy character. Well, to be honest, it's way before my time. And I never knew where it came from as an apprentice. I just took it that they were called Zebedees. But it's actually from Magic Roundabout, because there's a spring character that bounces along. So yeah, it's a bit of nonsense trivia for you. That's Zebedee, the moustache.
All right, so we've got the rubber foot, and then you just want to get the Zeb, and that will sit in and twist, because that's just a bit of unistrut, and then that can slide along to where you need it. So we're going to put 2 in, 1 either side of the tray, and then that will go under, and you can see you can adjust it so you can put your bolts through, and that's going to hold that down nice and firm. So it's just, we'll do that, we'll just work our way along.
So if you see, the Zeb's actually got a chamfer to it, so it'll only twist one way. So as it goes in, it will twist this way to the right. Watch me expertly put this in, like that. So as you turn it, you'll be tightening it down so it won't spin, but you can then still get it out. So it only spin one way. So as you tighten, it can't twist out.
Let's just see how that looks bent on a. We're gonna have 2 next to each other, aren't we? Oh, 2 seconds. Oh, what's going on here?
Liam, I'm not gonna lie, you're pulling me off the roof. Rumpo Tech coming in, doing absolutely nothing.
What's going on with this?
Doesn't really want to go more than that.
That's on the back and the front one.
Yeah, I think we have to put 45 in it. We can fabricate that one, but what we need is one of the ones that they come down like that.
Okay, so we've got to the first 90-degree bend. If we bolt these two together like that, we can leave this lip on, cut this lip off so the cables can come onto this. Same with that, cut that lip off, bolt them together, but that's going to be too tight of a bend for our two 10mm armoured. We could make a 45 and 45 out of one piece, but we're slightly short on tray. That would be like, you'd come along and then you'd have a nice 45 there and then a nice 45, and it would cut this corner. What we're going to do instead, because we'll just use the scraps, we'll bolt this like this, and then we'll bolt another piece across this corner, cut a bigger section out here and here, and then you've got a nice big swoop for the two cables. So we'll get this one done, show you, and then we've got one or two more to do. So today's tool of the day is going to be this Armeg roofing nut bit, and this is actually impact rated. You got two options, so it comes in 100mm and a 50mm. You can see it's perfectly made for a roofing nut, and that will just magnet on. If you're holding up trying to get into Unistrut and you've got your finger on the zeb and you're trying to line it all up, you haven't got to worry about that dropping off. So tool of the day, if you haven't got one, I'd say it's definitely worth sticking one in your tool bag if you're doing commercial work, that is.
I've just cut the previous piece, and what I've done is I filed the edge with the back of the angle grinder and then snapped it off. On this one I'll show you just another way. There's plenty of ways to skin a cat, so we could just run the angle grinder along here and then down. There's no real difference in it. It's just that when I was first doing this I didn't actually have an angle grinder, so the way I cut this was to go at it with a file. It took a long time, but I'd file through it and then snap it off to get that straight edge. Just trying to get a hacksaw down this flimsy bit of metal was quite difficult. So I've just got through that, and you can see you get quite a rough edge with the angle grinder, so I can file this all down. I found when I've done this piece here, when it's snapped off it's damn near flat. It's just a small bit of filing, but it's just showing another way how to do it really.
Cut down there and then just along the back, because it's going to be sitting and bolted anyway.
Am I just jiggling on camera? So now that we cut those ends, just going to spray up the cut ends with some galvanized spray. I know there's been a bit of debate online about whether these are any good. I've always used them over the years. I've never seen any issue with it, but I've seen other people use paint. Apparently that's better. I don't know what you guys use. Let us know in the comments.
Okay, so we've already put a couple of these joining brackets on. Normally they go, we was trying to figure them out. There's a bit of confusion because obviously you'd like them to go underneath just so there's no edges for cables to catch onto. But when we was doing it, they wasn't lining up like here for the clips to go through. So then we tried it on top, and you managed to get them through, but it wasn't until this one here we've realised that the bracket goes in slightly on the tray, which allows for this to slide underneath, to slide it around there. So then you just need to put a couple of bolts in just to secure it. So obviously we put a couple of these in down there, but we've got a bit of time, so we're just going to take them all out and do them properly and just slide the brackets underneath just so they're more secure, and just put a couple of bolts in.
Hi guys, so I'm filming the behind the scenes vlog that I always film every week for our channel members. Basically I just film behind the scenes of my life running the business and stuff, so if you want to support the channel and become a channel member, there's a link below, just click the join button. But yeah, I'm just like coming over to see what the guys are doing because my office is literally over there, so it's quite nice to be able to just jump over and see what's going on. And while I'm here, I need to give a massive shout out to some of our new Pringles for Life channel members. Pringles for Life is too reminiscent of Corey really. So we're going to change it. It's not Pringles for Life anymore. We're going to change it to Chocolate Hobnobs for Life. So massive shout out to our new Chocolate Hobnobs for Life channel members, Tim Cutler, Ellis Garbutt and Rick Midland Spark. Thank you so much for your support.
guys alright for a sec if I mount these in the plant room then? Okay, prepping for the matty device that's going here. So we've got some 40mm unistrut. That's going to go onto the wall. All this trunking, it's been battened off. I did get some 15mm couplers because I thought, oh, if we get them on the side there, then we've got nice big access to get into the chamber. But it turns out you can't open the door because we've literally got a tiny little gap here. So what we're going to have to do is we'll just have to grab these and we'll just have to lock ring through. So we'll see how that goes. We might need to get some longer ones, but we'll get it all mounted up and just take it from there.
My lifestyle's so lavish, I've got gout basically.
Oh.
Too much port and cheese really. No, I have something called plantar, hang on, how do you pronounce it? Yeah, plantar fasciitis. I can't pronounce it, it's some kind of, it's got like 3 eyes in it. How do you pronounce that? Basically, the muscle between my heel bone and like going across here has been damaged, and it was really painful to walk and put weight on. So I have to wear trainers at the minute. But Jordan is buying me some new bougie boots that are good for feet.
Just had to cut a bit of wood first, and then the unistrut will have to go on because this is a 60mm gap before the trunking starts. So we just want to get our unistrut level with that. So by the time we stick the matty device on, it's going to be able to coupler into this nice. So we'll get this wood on and then we'll get the unistrut on. So now that the wood's there, we can fix straight through into the brick behind, but it's spacing the unistrut just that bit so it's level with this trunking.
So the Hilti Neuron range come with different tiers of batteries. So this is a single stack battery, and then for more heavy duty purposes you get this. Now I choose to use this because it's nice and light, got to do it, but Luke's always trying to build his muscles and he has that plugged into everything.
See, this lasts 3 times as long as that technically, so makes sense to just charge these and use 3 tiers.
I've got the unistrut on the wall. I've had to put some wood behind just to bring it level with this trunking because it's all been boxed off before. So now this matty device will sit on nice and level with that. Next step is open this all up and we'll cut maybe a nice 50mm hole top and bottom, and then we can bring our feed cable in one and our 2 circuits down to the other one and into the breakers. So we'll go prep this up outside, bring it back, drill into this trunking, and then all this can get mounted. It's all ready for Monday then. Okay, I've prepped the back wall so this will sit flush with the trunking. Put my 50mm bushes in. What I need to do is hold this up where I want it, mark the trunking, drill into there, and then these 2 lock rings will lock that on as well. And then that is all prepped, ready for our armors to come down, get glanded into the top. They'll run down, through, into the breakers, and then our feed will come round into the 3-phase board. So while I'm doing that, go check on Luke in the rain and make sure he's not swimming. So sometimes some people will just go in with like some small couplers like 20 or 25mm, but I always find it nice if you can get a nice big opening because you never know in the future if someone's going to need to access it. So if you're doing the hard work of already drilling your hole, you might as well do the biggest you can. So sometimes with fuse boards, people might just do the knockouts, whereas I like to just cut a nice big square, grommet strip it and butt it up, or even Paxil in on commercial. Okay, in the matty device, we'll come in with our feed, and we've got a main switch here. That then feeds into this switch, but it also has some that goes across to this switch, which is feeding the surge protection device. That's your pen fault protection. And it comes down, and you've got your 2 32 amp RCBOs. So you can see they're 61009s, type A's, and they're 4-pole. So what we'll do is from our board, we'll come up, round with some tails to feed this, and then we'll bring our armoured probably along here, gland into the top of this T section. They can come straight down then, and then can leave a bit of slack down here, straight into RCBO1 and RCBO2.
Okay, so I've just come and jumped off the roof because it's absolutely pouring outside, you'll probably see. So me and Lee are both in here, and the reason we're trying to get all the stuff done in here today and the stuff on the roof is because they've actually got an x-ray machine here because it's chiropractors, and they said, so even if we was working on the roof, say on Monday, and they turn the machines on, we can still get actually radiation from it because the roof and the walls aren't lead lined. If we're close by, we can still be exposed to radiation. So because it's a Friday, and Friday afternoon especially, they're not going to use the x-ray machine at all today, they said. So yeah, that's why we're just trying to get as much stuff we can done in here and on the roof, just so yeah, we won't be exposed to x-ray basically.
Alright guys, it's Friday, it's pouring down. I think I'm ready for a pint, so I'll catch you guys Monday. Actually feels like this when we're installing it all.
It's a lovely day.
Lashing down. Weekend's come and gone, it's Monday morning. Luckily it's not raining anymore, so what we've done, we're just loosely laying out the cables on the roof. We're waiting for a few more zebs, and then once they turn up, we'll just put the last few in the feet that haven't got them, and then we'll get the cable onto the tray, tie it down with some metal ties, and then someone can be standing doing the car charger end, and someone can be prepping in the plant room, because I think we've got shut down of all the power about midday today when they're having lunch, so we've got about an hour window to turn all the power off, connect it up, get our ZE readings, and also they've got some x-rays today, so we'll speak to them, and whenever they've got appointments we'll have to just keep clear and get off the roof and not be near the room inside. So yeah, hopefully the weather stays like this and we'll have a good crack at it. So yeah, we'll just get this laid out.
So we're using metal zip ties, as these are in direct sunlight. If you look here, this expertly installed cable here, where these have been in the UV, they've just become brittle and they're all starting to break. So we're just going to have metal all the way along them. So we just slip that on, slide the tool into place. That'll just tighten it. When we lift that, all done.
Here we are with Luke getting some MVQ photos. I did see him, he was hovering around some work over there pretending he'd done it. In this board, there's no three-phase ways spare, so we need this 63 amp breaker to go in somewhere. So what we're thinking is the intruder alarm and smoke alarm, we'll move them down to 2 of these spares, then that frees up 1 TP where that can go, and then we'll feed that round into our MATI device, and then our 2 cables going away to the chargers will go up onto the roof. So we've got a shutdown at lunchtime, but I'm just going to start prepping things ready so the shutdown's not as long as what it needs to be, so I can get my tails into here round and ready.
So me and Reuben are going to make a start getting these cables down the wall, ready for the chargers to go on. We're going to try and find the centre of where the cables are coming over, and then we're going to have a datum point there, and then we're going to have a line coming down with so the cleats are in exactly the same space, so it looks nice on the eye. The only issue is that our laser level kind of stops here because of the daylight, so we'll have to keep moving that up to suit.
So this is John's laser. He's had this for about, I'd say about 100 years, and look, so I've just pressed one button, both of them have come on. I press another button and look, what, how is this even?
You used to have to hit it to turn it on.
Yeah, like if you see, it's chunky as. I'd say 65 degrees is about right for a ladder. Oh, it's a bit steep, you know. It's a bit steep.
How's that swan neck looking?
Looking like some sexy swan, you know.
Is that looking like a sexy swan?
I'm liking that swan, you know.
Yeah.
Tails are dressed in ready, so I've just left them out hanging. Second fixed in, And then what we've done is put our 2 armoured glands on with a bolt through the banjo, and we're just sussing out where we're going to come out. There's an aircon unit on the little roof the other side, so I think we go round there. We can see the cables up that corner. If we can see where them aircon pipes are as well, we can roughly measure off, see where we want to come out. So it'd be nice to come out above here, and then we can just clip down, gland off in there, down in this bit of trunking that's empty, through the coupler and in. So we'll go around and have a look on that roof.
If you get these little buckets, you get a little magnet, it can pull out your screws, you don't have to sort through them. It's a little trick for you. So this is the plate, gets mounted to the wall. So this isn't actually the charger, this is just where we put our connections in. The charger is actually a bit that clonks in, so you can prep it. Jet. I didn't see it. It's a Harrier jet, did you see it? It's like a Harrier jet.
Yeah, I saw that fly around there.
Oh my god, it's so loud. I'm putting my fingers in my ears like I ain't got ear defenders on. I kind of ruined my piece of camera. As I was saying, the charger itself clonks into place here. We're going to bring our cables into the top here. I know you're thinking it's a bit dodgy bringing stuff into the top, but these are actually designed to bring the cables into the top. There's nothing, as you can see, they've got a shelf here, so none of the connections can get wet, and it just runs straight through into these vents, and it just drips out straight out the bottom. So we're going to be coming in on this side, and the idea is that if they want to add ones in the future, we can pop out this side and then go along and piggyback another charger off of it. So this is the actual charger that plugs onto it, so that just slides on and pops down. See, it's got the 5 pins here. Easy, as we've mentioned on other videos before, you can put multiple chargers off of it and it will load share depending on how it's set up. The reason we're putting this in for the customer is that they're going to be using it for their staff when they're parking here, and they've got little card readers. They can tap onto it so they know what either the customers or the staff are using, and I don't know if they're going to charge them or have a fair allowance sort of thing, but they want to be able to monitor it, so that's why we've gone for these chargers.
Right, so because we're putting in a MATI device which has pen fault protection, we're glanding in this armoured on the other side, but only into the trunking and not to the main earth. The CPC is going to be connected in because that will disconnect under fault conditions, whereas this won't. So we're heat shrinking it so that even if it was somehow to become live, it couldn't liven up the case or anything this end, so that if you were to touch it or anything like that, it would never be live.
Simple as that. We're going to crack on with the other charger. Let's check in on Lee and Luke.
Right, here we are in the plant room. Armoured are through from the roof now, so Luke's going to strip them for his MVQ and I'm going to watch him. And then once they're stripped down here, we're going to go for an early lunch. If we get our lunch out of the way, then when the customer goes on lunch, we can do a shutdown, connect everything up.
Put these signs up, pop that on the wall there. We're just finding the middle of the bays. They're not the best of lines, but we've measured it, put the laser on the halfway mark, so now we've got a laser mark on the wall, and then we'll pop that, probably not that way, probably that way, it'll make more sense, won't it? There, electric vehicle charging station.
It's now lunchtime. We've been given the go-ahead to turn the power off. While it's off, Luke's just moving the intruder alarm and smoke alarm, which was up here, into 2 of the spare ways below, and now that's freed up a 3-phase way for our 63 amp breaker. So I'll get that in, and then our tails can come up into that. Once that's all done and safe, we can turn the power back on. Yeah, oh look, that's a little Instapic with that light. Let me try to get one for him. Torque driver. Give them a little RCD test for free. Tails are in now, so we've got brown, black, grey, neutral earth into the matty, and then we've got our 2 circuits down here. So we need to clip up here, get all that back nice. They're all tested now. IR and R1, R2 has been done. So we've got RCBO1, RCBO2. So we'll just leave a little bit of slack in there and then up and into them. That lid can then go back on. We've come round, up, and you can see we've made a 3-phase way up here. So we've taken into that. We had to extend our 2 circuits for the smoke alarm and the intruder alarm. That's all back on. Then we can have a good old tidy up. A little bit dirty, and we can go check outside. Just make sure everything's all right before commissioning.
I'll be the umbrella.
Reuben's my umbrella Ella. Right,
Ella.
Please forgive the shonkiness of my probes. So I've got the long one, the red one on the green one, and the blue one that I never use. So what happened the other day, I lost this probe, and now I'm trying to show you rotation testing. You can see our colours here, brown, black, grey. So we want to prove our rotation. You can do this with a Mega, better if you have the proper probes for it. So on the device here, it's L1, L2, L3. The colours do make it a little bit confusing, but you can see it's written in white just there. Pop that on, 1, 2, and 3. And on the machine, you can see it there. It says L1, L2, L3. If that was the wrong way around, I'll just turn 2 of them around. You see it's L1, L3, L2. So we've proved that the rotation is correct at the EV charger. So all is good. Right, this is my Drummond test lamps. So inside here, see this bulb? It's got lots of different filaments in it. Now this, you can't get this lamp really anymore. It's really hard. In one of my other Drummonds, I've got an LED equivalent, and I've changed there's like a little resistor I put inside it so the LED works. But this is just a basic lamp, test lamp for proving dead. So if I show you, if we go from the neutral to one of the lives, we've just got a little lamp there, and that's all it's going to do, just show that there's electricity there. If I go between phases, it's just a bit brighter. And that's how primitive it is, but it works, it does the trick. It's what I used to use on the networks, and that's a very durable bulb, so it can take a lot of whacking before it gives up the ghost. But I thought I'd share that with you guys.
Finished product on the roof, so the plant room's below. We've come out and done just a nice curve round onto the tray. Got all that gutter and stuff there. It's a bit too much if we just bent a bit of tray around to there. So I've just got a swoop in, comes up and over here. We've used metal cable ties so they're not damaged by the sun. On the bends, we could have done 45, but we opted to just cut our 90 and then get a bit across so we can get a nice swoop on the bend. And then literally all the way down to the end. And then same thing, we've come round and the first charger comes off, and then the second one, John's just fixing the last couple of zebs down, all done, ready for commissioning.
Oh my goodness, 1 mile of range left. This van, we don't have a good history. If you haven't watched it yet, watch the video where we tried to drive this stupid van from London to Paris. It was a joke. But I've literally driven to Royston and back, and I've got 1 mile of range left. So thank goodness we've got these chargers just installed, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to get home tonight. Moment of truth. We should see it start to, you see the line start to drop down when it starts charging. It's working! We can transfer ownership to the client so that they've got all the access to the back office system and monitoring of the charging points in their app and stuff. Or we can monitor it ourselves, or both. So it's a really flexible system which allows the client or ourselves to manage and add extra charge points later really easily. So you register the Easy RFID tags on the easy.cloud website. You can have as many as you like and assign them to various users.
These chargers come as non-tethered, but the great thing about them is in the app you can set it as tethered, and you can leave your lead plugged in and it will lock it in place. And I'm pretty sure they do a little hook so you can keep it hooked up, so you've got sort of best of both worlds. Alright, so the charger comes in 7 kilowatts or 22 kilowatts, so you've got like a home version and a commercial version. They're IP54 rated, so fine for outside, and there's a choice of 5 colours. Alright, finished product. So we've got our 3-phase breaker up here, in DB1. We've got our 2 armoured, which come from the roof down into this trunking, and then we've got our 3-phase MATI device. So we've just labelled this as its own DB, seeing as there's more than one circuit in here. Put where it's fed from, next test date. Let's open this up. It's quite tight, literally you wouldn't have got much more in there. So we've got our main switch, our pen fault protection device. We've got an auto reset device, so if there's a pen fault, it will trip, and if it registers that it's safe again, it will automatically reset itself, so that's quite a nice bit of kit. We've got our surge protection device, and then we've got our 2 RCBOs, which we've got our 2 22 kilowatt circuits to each car charger. So that's the final product. At the moment there's 2 chargers in use, but now we've got the option, if they want more chargers in the other bays, we've already got our 2 circuits out there, and we can just link off and put more chargers, up to 101 on each circuit. So they've only got a few bays here, so it's quite well covered, and hopefully you found it interesting. If there's anything we've missed or you'd like to go into more detail, leave a comment below.